Hi everyone. Hi, Saeid is here from FemCare Marketing, and today we have another webinar, and we are going to go through the local search engine optimization, which basically means how we can make your clinic show up in the search results on top when someone looks for a clinic like yours. For example, OBGYN near me, or OBGYN in Burlington, Massachusetts, is near where I live. So today we are going to discuss that. Hopefully by the end of this webinar, you will learn how to handle your local SEO, or your team can do that, and make sure that you rank first or top for the people who search for services that you provide, or for clinics that is similar to yours. I am here with Zayra. Zayra is our marketing manager. She is a master in marketing, digital marketing, everything related to digital marketing, and she's going to help me. Zayra, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I'm just going to start presenting this. Let me. Okay, so this webinar's topic is how you can is local SEO secrets, how to dominate Google in your area. I am Saeid Gholami. I'm an MD, MBA, and the CEO of I Care Better and FemCare Marketing, which is the marketing agency. And with Zayra, we are going to present this webinar. First, let's talk about why you should listen to me and who am I to talk about this stuff. I am the founder of FemCare Marketing and I Care Better Endometriosis AI, and I have a MD, MBA, and a Master in Digital Technology. And I have grown our platforms to over 1,000 patients per day, and we have helped 10 plus practices cross $1 million in annual revenue, and some of them have crossed multiple $1 million in annual revenue. I have 7+ years of experience in endometriosis, pelvic pain, and all things women's health. If you want to talk with me and meet with me personally, you can go to femcaremarketing.com/consult. You can see me there. You can schedule an appointment with me there, and we can discuss how you want to grow your practice and how we can help. All right. That's. I hope that convinces you that you should listen to us, and we have something to help you and to add you. Next, let's do some housekeeping. I know practice is crazy. There are 1,000 pieces that are moving together. The office manager is doing something, the nurse, the patient. These are distracting. And you're probably on your cell phone right now. I suggest put your cell phone aside, put it on airplane mode, or just put it somewhere that you don't see it. For the next 60 minutes, focus on your practice. Focus on the future of your practice. It's 60 minutes in a month. Not too much to ask for you to focus on your own practice. Consider this your time for your practice. Close your chatbots, Slack, Google Chat, whatever. Close your EMR, no notes. Just focus on this, because this is going to help you grow your business. For once, work on your business, not in your business. And so if you are really serious about doubling or tripling the leads that you get through Google local search, let's focus. Let's dedicate this time to this presentation and get something out of it. So after this presentation, after this webinar, you have something added to your knowledge and skills. All right. So let's talk about what we are going to learn today. First, let's discuss why why local SEO matters and what are the shifts, the foundation of local SEO and how it's different from general SEO. Like typically, there's general SEO you search, for example, abnormal uterine bleeding. There is something comes up, or pelvic pain, something comes up. But when you do pelvic pain in Boston or pelvic pain in Los Angeles, something else comes up. These are the difference in the local SEO versus general SEO. Zayra is going to talk more about that. How to optimize your Google business profile is a very simple, straightforward way. A lot of people don't do it, and they are basically leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because they just don't optimize their Google business profile to attract more patients. And let's and talk about how to leverage patient reviews and reputation, which is going to help you enormously in local search results, and how to create a great content tailored to your location, and also how to get backlinks to rank high for those local keywords. For example, pelvic pain in Burlington, or pelvic pain doctors in Burlington, or endometriosis in Burlington. So how you can tailor the content to that, and how you can make sure that's ranked high. And a lot of and some technical quick wins which are pretty simple. I trust me, if it was complex, we wouldn't tell you these things. These are simple, low-hanging fruits. You can easily do it yourself or give it to any of your staff members to do it. So simple wins, quick wins, you can do that. And we talk about how to track and measure the performance. Everything is data, right? If you don't know the numbers, you won't be able to make the right decision. So you should have a strategy in place to measure and track the SEO performance, so you can optimize the process down the road, and you know what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk a little case studies and how things work. And then at the end, we're going to talk about your action plan. You are going to have 3 steps that you are going to take after this webinar for your practice. So have a pen and paper ready, or have your notes ready. We are going to give you time to think about your next 3 steps to take for your local SEO. You don't need to think like complex. It's going to be pretty simple and straightforward. So what's local SEO and why it matters? We know SEO stands for a search engine optimization. Basically means when you Google something, that's search engine, right? What appears on top, that's an optimized article that ranks high. What's the difference between what's local SEO? What's the difference? Local SEO means if someone basically searches in your region, for example, endometriosis, OBGYN, pelvic pain in your region, the city that you are. For example, I'm in Massachusetts, I'm in Boston, OBGYN in Boston. How I make sure that my clinic appears top? That's local, right? And as you know, people Google first before they even talk to their friends, and they want something nearby, high quality nearby clinics, right? You need to have both. And so if you appear for their search as a high quality clinic within the region that they would be able to travel, you're going to be their choice. And that means business, long-term business for you. So that's why it's so important to leverage the local SEO. And why it's different? Let's talk about like the core difference. Like, so traditional SEO means, like, let's say if you search endometriosis, there's probably going to be an article from Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, WebMD, something that's totally irrelevant to the region, right? But if you put endometriosis doctor in Boston or endometriosis Boston, then it's going to be all in Boston area. That's where I live. That's local SEO. Just completely like ignores the traditional like national results, focuses on Boston. Probably are going to see Brigham and Women, MGH, a lot of clinics here. They are going to appear first. So that's what local SEO is. And most people, when they search for a doctor, they want local SEO, right? They want local results rather than a national. Okay, who's the best doctor in like Johns Hopkins? I don't care. I'm in Boston. I want someone in Boston. What that doctor has to tell me. All right. So as you can imagine, proximity and trust are the 2 major factors that drives the decision for a woman to get to a doctor. So you want to build both proximity and trust within your Google business profile and within your local SEO. So this shows a typical local search results. Endometriosis surgery in New York. You see the top 4. Some of them are sponsored. So you want to make sure that you appear there by like you have to appear there. Otherwise, you're not going to be seen by many people. So that's basically what we mean by local search. A lot of times you're going to lose to sponsored content. Sometimes you want to be the one who is sponsoring the content. So we'll talk about that. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Zayra. She's going to take it from here, and at the end, I'll come back. Zayra's going to dig deep into like how things work and how it's going to help you, and I'll be back at the end to wrap things up with you. Zayra?
Thank you, Said.
Of course.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone again. I'm Zayra Alarcón, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. I currently serve as the marketing manager for FemCare, and for the past 8 years, I've been helping medical practices and clinics strengthen their digital presence from strategy and content to performance and local visibility. So, for today, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked tools for growth in healthcare, which is a local SEO, and more specifically, how to optimize your Google business profile so your clinic appears exactly where your future patients are searching. We'll start with the foundations of local SEO and then move step by step into what you can actually do to rank high, get more calls, and ultimately book those appointments, right? So, but now before we dive into tactics, let's take a step back and talk about how Google actually decides which clinic shows up first in those local results, right? That for a local pack that Said was showing us. Think of Google's like a kind of a three-part equation that uses every single time someone searches for a service nearby. So the first question Google asks is, do you match the search? That's what we call relevance. Um, how well your profile, your website content, and your services match what the patient is looking for. The second question Google asks is, are you nearby? That's proximity. Your physical distance from the person doing the search. So if your clinic has amazing reviews, if you're even if you're that super qualified doctor for that service, if you're too far from where the person is searching, you may not appear in those top results. And finally, Google asks, do people trust you? And that's prominence, which includes things like reviews, local citations, backlinks, and how active your business profile is. It's basically Google's way of measuring your reputation and authority in your local area. So every time someone types something like pelvic floor therapy nearby or endometriosis doctor in Boston, um, that's when Google runs this formula behind the scenes and looks for relevance, proximity, and prominence to decide what makes it into that top local four pack. Okay. Now that we understand this formula, let's talk about the four pillars that actually influence those factors to help your practice show up higher in those local searches. These are the core elements of local SEO, and every a strong local strategy is built around them. So the first pillar is your Google business profile. This is your clinic storefront on Google. It's often the very first impression a patient gets, and optimizing it correctly can make the difference between getting the call or being completely overlooked. The second pillar is reviews and reputation. Um, your reviews don't just build trust with the patient; they also send a very strong signal to Google about your clinic's credibility and activity. So the more consistent, the higher the quality, the reviews that you have, the more visible and trusted your business become. The third pillar is local content, which is specifically about creating content on your website, your blog, your social media, and your Google business that speaks to your specific community, your nearby cities, and the conditions or services people are actively searching for in your area. And the fourth pillar is backlinkings, which are essentially online votes of confidence. When reputable local searches, let's say hospitals, associations, or community blogs, link back to your website, they tell Google that your clinic is a trusted authority in your field and in your location. When you combine all these four pillars, you're building a strong interconnected system that builds all three parts of Google local formula: relevance, proximity, and prominence, helping you rank higher and stay visible over time. And here's why this matters, right? Right now, 46% of all Google searches have local intent, meaning almost half of the people using Google are looking for something near them. That means patients aren't just searching for women's health or pelvic floor therapy. They're searching for those services in their cities, their neighborhood, their specific areas. So if your clinic isn't showing up in those local results, you're literally invisible to almost half of the people searching or actively searching for that exact service that you offer. And that's why optimizing your Google business profile and strengthening your local SEO isn't optional anymore for the digital environment. It's an essential tool or strategy that you have to implement for consistent patient growth. Okay, so I want to start now with the first pillar, which is your Google business profile, how to optimize it. So I want you to think of your Google business profile as as your clinic's digital front door. It's often the very first place patients will find you, sometimes even before they ever visit your website. So the first step is simple but very crucial. Many people overlook it, which is claim and verify your profile. If you haven't done that, that's the foundation. Once it's verified, your goal is to complete every single field that Google gives you. That means your category, your services, your business hours, your phone numbers, and especially your address and services areas, because that's going to improve your local SEO. Then, beyond the basics, you want to add high quality photos and videos that reflect your clinic, that shows your staff and the patient experience. You want to show visual content that makes your profile feel real and trustworthy. And Google's algorithm loves active, updated profiles, and patients love to see where they are going to step into, right? So, photos are a must. You must have many photos that show you, your staff, and your facilities. Okay. So next, I want you to think of your Google business profile as a mini website. You want to use Google Posts to share updates, promotions, or tips, ideally weekly or at least monthly. You can also add frequently asked questions directly in your Google business profile, which not only helps patients but also increases your keyword relevance for local searches. And one of the most important parts that many people forget is that you want to make it easy to act. So, which action do you want the patient to take once they're looking at your Google business profile? You want to include clear call to actions like direct booking or links to call. The fewer step a patient has to take to schedule or contact you, the higher your conversion rate will be. And finally, you want to avoid generic information. Everything on your profile, your description, services, posts should be optimized and specific to your practice. We always talk about mentioning the fears and frustrations of your patient so they feel understood. Many patients search using those fears and frustrations, like pelvic pain, the specific symptom that they're searching for. Make sure that you use those specific information on your descriptions on all the posts that you create, and always put them specifically in the area that you're trying to to um, position yourself, right? So instead of saying women's health clinic, you can say pelvic floor therapy in Austin, or you can say endometriosis surgeon, or a pelvic surgeon, or physical therapies for postpartum in Austin, in Boston, in New York, wherever you are. You want to make sure that you're always mentioning your location, because you have to remember your Google business isn't just a listing, it's a living, high converting tool that can drive real patient growth when you manage it strategically. Okay, so now that we've tapped into the Google business profile, I want us to move to the second pillar of local SEO, which is reviews and reputation management. So when it comes to local visibility, reviews aren't just about patient trust, they're actually a ranking factor. So Google uses them to measure how credible, relevant, and active your practice is. So these are three key signals that Google are looking for. First, it's volume. I think I can jump one slide here. First, it's the volume. So which means is how many total reviews do you have on your profile? Second is recency, meaning how fresh your consistent those reviews are. And number three, it's keywords, which are the actual keywords patients or the actual words patients are using when they describe your services. Which means a clinic that has 300 reviews and averaging 4.8 stars will almost always outrank a clinic with only 6 perfect 5-star reviews, because Google values consistency and ongoing engagement over that perfect 5-star score. So when you're working on your reviews strategy, don't just aim for good reviews, aim for steady, authentic feedback from real patients over time. Encourage them to mention the specific service or condition you were treated for, like pelvic floor therapy, or I had a fertility IVF procedure, or I just got a positive pregnancy test after my IVF at the clinic. Whatever the service and the outcome that you got, is very sure that you're including the keyword of your service. So it creates that authentic feedback, but also aims for the keywords that you're posting. Those keywords help your clinic appear for exactly those kind of searches. And finally, you want to respond to every review, both positive, negative. Your replies show that you're active, that you're professional, and that you're engaged with patients. And Google notices that too, right? So in short, a volume, recency, relevance. If you manage these three consistently in your reviews, you become one of the strongest trust and visibility engines for your clinic, right? And now that we know why reviews matter, let's talk about how you can actually get them. Because timing and approach make a lot of the difference. The best time to ask for a review is right after a positive experience, so when patients feeling satisfied, they are relieved or genuinely grateful with the care they receive. Let's say your patient just finished their appointment, you or your front desk team might say something like, "Hey, Zayra, it was great having you today. How was your experience?" If they respond positively, like it was amazing, the therapist was so kind, or the doctor answered all my questions, or I got a green light, I'm pregnant, whatever the positive outcome is, that's your moment to act. And that at that point you want to ask in person. You can have a simple QR at your desk or at the front desk, so they can leave a review right there using their phones. You can also send an email, a text message, a WhatsApp message immediately after their appointments, something like, "Thank you for visiting us today, we love your feedback, here's a quick link to share your experience," or whatever that makes it as effortless as possible for the patient, but that you want to take advantage of that time and inconvenience. So when you get review when the emotions are high, and you make it ridiculously easy for them to actually submit it. Okay. And now that you have if you have a large patient base or a small team, you can also automate the review request process. Most CRMs, let's say Go High Level, HubSpot, Soho CRM, lets you trigger automation. So, for example, when a patient appointment is marked as complete, your system can automatically send an initial email with your review link, a follow-up reminder a few days later, even a text message if they haven't responded. So these automations keep the process consistent, and that consistency builds volume and recency over time. So when you integrate your full process, and you know when a patient actually went to the appointment, actually got the procedure, actually got the positive result that you were looking for, if you have that all digitalized and automated on your CRM or on your system, you can immediately send them that review process. So you don't have to think, "Oh, who do I invite to give me that review?" That's the step that most clinics fail. They have an amazing service. They have some in face-to-face interaction that it's amazing. The patients are very happy, but it's very difficult for a patient to go and leave that review without being asked to. So most clinics don't ask the patient to do it. So here's where I'm making a lot of emphasis, because making that additional step on your CRM, on your team, to just after that appointment take the step and ask for that, it's going to make a lot of the difference. Okay, now that I have tapped into that, I want to take it one step further, because reviews aren't just for Google Business Profile. They help a lot. They're insanely relevant. But once you've earned those great reviews, and I just mentioned how hard they can be to get, you don't want to let them sit in one place, right? You want to think of them as marketing gold that you can repurpose across your entire digital presence. And here's how. For example, you can use them for reviews in your marketing materials. You can turn patient quotes into social media posts. You can highlight them in your newsletters. You can even feature them in digital ads. Um, Real words from real patients are far more persuasive than any tagline that we could write as a marketing agency, or that you can come up with, because it's more honest, it's more transparent for the patient. Second recommendation is to embed them on your website by adding your stars, rating, and testimonials directly onto your key pages. Let's say your homepage, a service page, or a booking page. You immediately build credibility. And new visitors see social proof right where it matters the most. So where when they're about to make that conversion, that book appointment. Number three, you want to include them in landing pages and lead forms. When people see that others have had a positive experience with your clinic, it reduces hesitations and increases the conversion that you're looking for. Because at the end of the day, patients want to know, what did others go through? Did they feel comfortable with this doctor? What was their problem solved? Right? And that kind of peer validation is one of the strongest trust signals that you can have. Okay. Now that we have talked about reviews, I want to talk about reputation management. And this means responding to every review, even the negative ones, right? Oh, sorry. When you respond professionally with empathy, you show that you care about the feedback and that you're open for improvement. You're showing that commitment to patient satisfaction. So remember that getting reviews is one step. Using them strategically and managing them truthfully, it's what actually transforms them into one of your most powerful marketing tools. So don't let them just sit on Google Business. You want to make the most out of them. Okay. And now I want to tap into the last two pillars of local SEO, which are local content and backlinks. So let's start with local content. Google always favors context, right? It wants to see that your content is relevant to people in your area. That means your post pages and blogs should all reflect where you are and what you do there. A great way to start this is through your Google Business Profile posts. You can use them to highlight your services and locations. So I have here two examples. For example, we have this clinic showing myofascial release therapy in Sherman Oaks, which is in Los Angeles. Or we can also do fertility and in vitro treatments in Tijuana, Mexico. Or you could do endometriosis surgery or laparoscopic endometriosis surgery in New York City. Each of these examples connect a specific service to a local area, and that helps Google understand exactly who you serve and where. So it goes beyond those categories that you have already listed when you initially optimize your profile. It shows that recency, that you're constantly updated your content and you're constantly mentioning your area. Say if you're in Los Angeles, you mention Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. So Google knows they're in Los Angeles and this is the service that they provide, or they have all these different services. So you want to use those posts to make sure that you're improving the local SEO. You can also do local SEO through location specific pages on your website. For instance, if you offer pelvic floor therapy in multiple cities, you can create a dedicated page for each. Let's say pelvic floor therapy in Atlanta, or pelvic floor therapy in Miami, or pelvic floor therapy in Los Angeles. Those locations pages help Google associate your practice with multiple local searches, giving you broader visibility across regions. So this is improving your general SEO because you are doing keywords and all of that, and also improving your local SEO with the specific locations where you have reach, where you can actually serve patients, right? And I don't want to forget about local blogging. So you can write blogs around topics where people are actually searching for in your area. So, for example, in vitro fertilization costs in Mexico. This is an actual keyword, and we're answering a specific question that patients are searching for. Or you can look for or try to position yourself for best recovery tips after pelvic surgery in Los Angeles. It's a very long tail keyword, very specific, but it has very um, targeted audience searching for it. If someone is searching for in vitro fertilization costs in Mexico, is because they're considering doing the procedure in Mexico, not because they're considering doing it in the US. So closing that gap between the actual service need and the location is what makes it successful, this type of content. Okay. So now let's go to backlinkings. For local SEO, local backlinks are the most powerful ones because you want links from your local media outlets, the local hospitals, your medical associations, the Chamber of Commerce, or community websites on your city or country, right? If your local news sites features your clinic, or if you're listed in your city's health association's page, or if you speak at an event and that event website links to you, those are all high valuable location relevant backlinks. And I want you to think of it this way: PR is SEO. So every media mention, interview, article that you're featured in, you can and you should ask for a link back to your website. Each link tells Google this practice is credible, established, and trusted in their area. So that authority doesn't just help Google business profile, it also boosts your overall website SEO, helping you rank higher for both local and organic searches. But when it's attached to your location, those are gold, right? Just to sum it up, local content builds relevance, the backlinks build authority, and together they'll help you dominate on that local market because you're going to go up and be in that local four pack that I showed at the beginning. So before we wrap up, I want you to leave you one quick bonus, which are a few technical wins that can make a big difference in your local SEO performance. These are small details, but they have a huge impact on how Google sees and ranks your clinic. So let's go through them quickly. Number first, and I always mention it, is mobile first. Today, over 80% of all local searches happen on mobile devices. So your website absolutely has to be mobile friendly. That means pages that load properly, text that is easy to read, and most importantly, clear call to actions that people can actually tap from their phone. If it's not mobile friendly, people are just gonna skipped, right? If the patient has to scroll endlessly or pinch and zoom to find the booking link or the phone number, they'll just leave. So you want to make sure that your mobile version on your site smooth, it's fast, and it's action oriented. Okay. Tip number two, it's speed and performance, right? Google reviews websites that load fast. A slow site not only frustrates the patient, the user, it also hurts your ranking. So test your website speed regularly. You can use tools like Google's page speed, and you have to optimize your images. You want to make sure your hosting and caching are working fine, because the faster your site is, the better your visibility and authority. Tip number three is schema markup. This is a bit more technical, but it's incredibly powerful. A schema markup is a piece of code on your website that helps Google understand who you are and what you do. So, for example, you can tell Google that you're a women's health clinic, or that you are an endometriosis surgeon, or that you are a OBGYN, and where you're located, right? That extra layer of structured data helps Google categorize your business correctly and match your more accurately to patient searching in your area. And finally, security matters. You know that. Your website must have an HTTPS certificate. And it's not just about protecting the data. Google also considers a trust signal, right? If your site isn't secure, both users and the search engines lose confidence. So, quick recap: mobile optimization, speed, schema markup, security are four small but powerful technical factors that strengthens your local SEO foundations and give you that extra edge over competitors who ignores them. Okay. And I want to give you a final tip here, which is tracking for success. All of these efforts only matter if you know what's actually working. So you have to measure everything. Otherwise, you're just guessing if the strategy is working or not, right? Tracking helps you answer questions like, is my local SEO actually working? Am I targeting the right keywords? Is my Google profile actually bringing patients? So let's talk about how to track successfully and effectively these strategies. Strategy or how to number one is the key tools. You have to make sure you have the right tools in place. You can use Google Analytics. This tells you how your website is performing, how many visitors you're getting, where they're coming from, what actions are they taking. And you should be tracking form submissions, calls, and appointment requests so you can see how your website turns into real patients. Second, you can also use Google Business Profile Insights. This is your local visibility dashboard, right? You can see how many calls came directly from your profile, how many website visits, and even how many people click for directions to your clinic, which is a great indicator of real world intent. And number three, you want to use local rank tracking, pardon. So tools like SEMrush or Bright Local to monitor where you rank for your key local keywords. So, for example, if you want to rank for endometriosis surgeon in New York, you want to know that you're positioning for that. If not, what are you going to do so? Many clinics have a lot of educational content, which is great for volume of traffic, but they forget about this local SEO, which is gold at the moment of achieving patients. So it's not only relevant if you rank for endometriosis surgeon, it's very relevant if you rank for endometriosis surgeon in New York. Okay. Then you want to track patients conversions. So beyond the visibility, you need to know what actions patients are actually taking. So how many calls are you getting? How many forms or booking requests were submitted? Because tracking conversions both from your Google business profile and your website helps you see where your marketing is actually driving real patients inquiries. So you can put more efforts into that and keep improving, right? And you want to focus on the core metrics. I have three that I believe that are the most relevant. First, it's visibility. How many people saw me, which are the impressions, the views that you get. Second, it's engagement. How many people clicked on my website or my profile. And third, it's conversions. How many patients actually did I actually get this month? How many of those visitors did actually became patients? How many of those forms that were submitted actually came to the appointment? And that's the ultimate measure of local SEO success. It's not just being seen, right? You want to turn that visibility into real appointments and patients growth. So remember, what gets measured gets improved. So I invite you to actually track everything, learn from your data, keep optimizing the visibility, the reputation, and your performance. And that's how you're going to dominate on your local SEO through this strategy. So now that we've covered everything, and Said mentioned it at the beginning that we're going to give you homework here, I want you to think what are you going to implement as a result of this webinar? What's the first action that you're going to take today? I want you to think of three, hopefully, that you're going to do. For example, you're going to go and optimize the basic information of your Google profile. Make sure that your hours, your services, your photos are complete and accurate. Or maybe you want to start tracking your keywords more based on local SEO. How are you ranking on local SEO today? What are the most relevant ones on your area? Or maybe you want to start commit to posting weekly or monthly on your Google business profile to keep it active and relevant, right? Let's say you want to create local content, you want to create a blog, you want to create location pages. I'm just giving you ideas here, right? So I want you to say, my personal goal this month is to have 5 new location pages in my website by the end of November. So you can be more relevant in your area. Okay. So to wrap things up, I want to pass the microphone back to Saeed, who's going to share our closing statements and introduce FemCare services to you. Thank you.
Thank, thank you so much, Zayra. Great stuff, exciting stuff. Right, how is everyone feeling? Do you feel there is something new to do after this session? You have this toggle on the bottom right, which is meeting tools. It's like a 3 by 3 dots. And if you click on that, there is a Q&A. And if you click on that Q&A, you can ask a question. So if anyone here has a question, please feel free to drop your question here, and we will be happy to answer. If not, it's totally fine. I know these things are a little technical, so you might need time to consume the information. You can contact us later. You have our emails already. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds in silence to write down 3 action items. One of the things that Zayra says, just think about and just write it down. Don't think too much about it. Your 30 seconds have already started 5 seconds ago. So this is a practice, this is a mental practice. You just focus, think about what needs to be done. Hopefully we'll do it by the end of November. Then by the end of November, we have a new homework for you to do. But just having a plan, doing one step at a time, all of a sudden, by the end of the year, you have done 36 good steps for your practice. Okay, 10 more seconds, and then we can go to the next step, which is wrapping up the whole presentation. Alrighty, all right, so now I want to give you an idea about who we are, what we do. Maybe we can help you, or maybe now, maybe in the future. But I think it's fair to know who we are, why we are talking about these things. So we are FemCare Marketing, a spin-off from I Care Better, which is FemCare Marketing is a marketing strategy for women's health clinics. We focus on ethical and effective digital marketing. We specialize in women's health practices like OBGYNs, pelvic floor physical therapy, or any practice that only caters to women. We understand the language, we know the audience. So I think we are pretty experienced and credible to do this. We customize our strategies, depends on where you need more help. You might need ads, you might need website help, you might need some social media help. We have a full spectrum service that we can offer, and all our program is patient-centered. We focus on patient education. So our marketing is basically patient education. We help them to find you, to learn more about the disease, so establishes you as the authority and the place to go for learning and basically for receiving care. And we have done a lot of projects. We have many partners. We have helped them to cross 7 figures or multiple 7 figures in revenue, starting from some of them like zero, some of them from like a couple of 100,000. But now we know how this works. We know how to make someone successful. And if you need help with SEO, ads, social, anything, lead gen, whatever, we can help you definitely. Just let us know. You can, if you need help, you can go to the femcaremarketing.com/consult, and you can book actually a free assessment of your marketing with us. Sorry, with us. We will do like there is this session that we do. We call it lead acceleration session, which means we help you get more leads, more patients coming through the door. And we do an analysis of website conversion effectiveness and like online visibility, your ranking, your consistency, your reputation, and like how you look online. How is it helping you? And if there is any room for improvement, we will tell you. And if you are doing something really good, we also emphasize that for you. So you keep doing that. And that's a free session. We give you a playbook. Basically, you can go work on it, or if you think you don't have bandwidth or team to do it, you can ask us. There's no obligation if you book this appointment. We know we need just to provide you an assessment, and there's no like sale or anything. Just you can make a decision after that session. So let us know. And with that, we come to an end. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. I hope this 45 minutes has been great for your practice. Remember, you need to work on your practice sometimes. You're always thinking about patients, staff, like what to do, what not to do, what to buy. But sometimes you need to take one step out, think about the business, like where the gap is, how I can bring more patients in, how I can bring more um, revenue in, so I can hire better people, more people, get better stuff in our practice. So always think about the business sometimes. So with us, this 45 minutes, I hope it has helped, and hopefully you get something out of it. So you have 3 action items to do for the next couple of days. If you have any question, drop it right now in that 3 by 3 dots on the bottom right, which says meeting tools, and there's a Q&A. You can ask us a question, and they're gonna give you maybe 1 minute or 2. If you don't have any questions, that's totally fine. You're going to get a recording of this session after this webinar in a few days, and then you can watch the video again and go through it. Maybe there are some things that you want to focus more on. That would be great. Just repetition makes perfect. Go through it, do it. Maybe you want to do more than 3 items. That's also awesome. And if you need our help, again, you can go to our femcaremarketing.com/consult. We do a full assessment of your digital presence for free. We give you the proposal, the action items. You can do it by yourself or have your team to do it, or you can ask us to come on board and do it for you. No obligation. We'll be happy to help you. All right. So it seems there is no question. Thank you everyone for being here. It's always a pleasure to be here and present this stuff to you. Hope it helps your practices. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day and night.
Thank you. Have a good night and
Thank
day.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.